So here are the mock interviews. This is the first mock interview. The questions asked from the below topics: OOPS concepts, loops, collections, access modifiers, .NET framework, page lifecycle, joins, and constraints. I recommend to first learn these topics from outside or from the book, and then only you should give this mock interview. This mock interview will contain around 10 to 12 questions, and you have to check your preparation status from this mock interview. Okay, so all the best and let's start. Here is your first interview. It is a very easy interview. You must crack this interview with 100% score. Think of me as an interviewer. Okay, now let's start the interview. Here is your first question. What are OOPS concepts? Explain the use of each concept. You can pause the video here and think about the answer. Okay, now let's see the answer. Here is the answer. If it is matching with your thinking, that means you have cleared this question. If it is not, then go through it. One important thing, I am not going to read the answers in the mock interviews, because if you already know the answer, then it will be a waste of time for you. But if you don't know the answer, then you can just pause the video here and can go through the answer. Okay, it's up to you. So next, moving to the next question. What is the difference between overloading and overriding? Is overriding possible in same class? What is compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism? Okay, now think about it. Pause the video, think about it for 2 minutes, and then check the answer. Let's see the answer. Here it's the answer. If the answer is matching 80 to 90% with your own answer, then you have cleared this question. Moving to the next question. What is the difference between array and array list? Again, this is a very easy question. Think about the answer, pause the video, and then let's check the answer. Here is the difference. If you already know, you can move to the next question. If you don't know, then just read it, the answer. Here is the question number 4th. What is the difference between an abstract class and an interface? Tell me at least 3 differences. For any questions which have differences, you have to give at least 3 differences. Then only you will clear that answer. So pause the video, think about the differences. Now let's see the answer. Here is the answer. So if you don't know about the answer, you can read it and memorize it. If you already know the answer, then continue to the next question. Question number 5. Explain access modifiers in C#. What is the default access modifier of a class? Pause the video, think about the access modifiers. Okay, now let's see the answer. Compare it and then move to the next question. What are the important components of .NET framework? Explain them. Pause it and think about it. Okay, checking the answer. Here is the answer. If you already know, that's great. If you don't know, then explore these components in the Google. You can check all the components one by one. Moving to the next question. Explain the events in page lifecycle in ASP.NET Web Forms. In which event are the controls fully loaded? Pause the video, think about the answer. If you are from MVC background, you can skip this question. Okay, now let's see the answer. These are the main states. It is not necessary to answer all the states, but you have to know at least 5 states of this page lifecycle, which is init, load, pre-render, render, and unload. Rest of them you can skip. Moving to the next question. What are joins? And explain each one of them. Pause the video and think about the answer, or you can better write the answer in your notepad or in a copy or somewhere. Okay, now let's check the answer. Here is the answer. Okay, let's move to another question. Question number 9. What is where, group by, having, order by in MS SQL? What is the difference between where and having clause? This is a very good question from SQL Basics. Pause the video and think about them. Okay, now let's check the answer. Your answers might be different from these answers. Might be the content is slightly different, but yes, you must know the answers. So the interview is over. Now here you can score yourself. You have to make sure that all the answers in this interview should be known to you, because this was a very basic interview. And if it is not, then you have to again prepare the basic concepts of the OOPS, C#, and classes and SQL. And then you can move to the next interview. Thank you. Welcome to the second mock interview. I hope you have cleared the first mock interview. As we will go from 1 to 2 to 3 mock interviews, the level of difficulty will increase gradually. So in this mock interview, again, this is a very basic mock interview, and the basic topics are covered in this mock interview. And the topics are inheritance, polymorphism, string class, boxing, unboxing, MVC lifecycle, MVC state management, stored procedures and functions, and views. Okay, so let's start. All the best. Alright, so here is your second mock interview. The questions in this interview are slightly difficult from the first mock interview, but they are still the basics. So let's start. Here is the first question. What is inheritance? And explain its types. What are the benefits of using inheritance in programming? Pause the video and think about the answer, or you can write down. Okay, here is the answer. These are the types of inheritance. Just go through it if you are not aware. Or move to the next question. What are the types of method overloading? Think about it. Okay, let's see the answer. These are the answers of this question. Next question. What is the difference between string and string builder? Pause the video, think about the answer, or write the answer. Here is the answer. Compare your own answer with this answer. If it is matching, then it's done. Now the question number 4th. What is boxing and unboxing? Which of them is implicit and which is explicit? Try to think about both the questions and answer them in your mind, or you can note it down also. Okay, so here is the answer. Okay, next question. What are the advantages of MVC over ASP.NET Web Forms? Think about it, pause the video, and now see the answer. These are the differences and the advantages. Okay, next question. What is MVC? Explain MVC lifecycle. So if you are a web form guy, then you can skip this question. But if you are a MVC one, then you have to answer this. Okay, now let's see the answer. Here it is. Now the next question. What are filters in MVC and explain their types? So this is again a MVC question. If you are a web form guy, then you can skip this question. Now let's see the answer. Here is the answer. Now move to next question. What is the difference between view data, view bag and temp data in MVC? How can we pass the data from controller to view in MVC? This is a very common question and you have to answer it. Now let's see the answer. Here is the answer. Again, I am not going to read the answer because if you already know the answer, then it will waste your time. So I don't want that. And in any interview, no interviewer will, tell the answer to you. So think of me as an interviewer. Okay. So now let's go to the next question. What is the difference between stored procedures and functions? Very basic questions in SQL. You have to tell at least 4 differences. Write down the answer, write down your own points. And now let's see the answer. Here is the answer. Great. Question number 10. What are views? Is their data stored in memory? Very tricky question. Try to answer it. Okay. Now let's see the answer. Here is the answer. Now question number 11th. What are constraints in MS SQL? Name and explain them. So these are basically basic SQL questions. You must know them before the interview. Great. Now let's see the answer. Here is the answer. You can go through the answer if you are not aware of this, or you can skip the answer if you are aware. Okay, great. So the interview is done. So see here, in 10 to 11 questions, you can judge yourself whether you are able to get more than 8 marks or not. If you are, that means you are going good and you can move to the next interview. But if you are scoring less than 5 or less than 6, then you have to prepare the concepts again, because right now we are facing only very basic interview questions. These are not so hard. As we move forward, we will get more and more hard questions. Okay, great. Thank you. Now we will see the next mock interview. Okay, so now this is the third mock interview. In this interview, the topics will be static, keyword, exception handling, state management techniques, ADO.NET architecture, aggregate and scalar functions, cursors, and indexing in SQL. So you can study these topics and can prepare for the interview, and then you can give the interview. So here it is mock interview 3. The questions in this interview are slightly difficult than the previous interview, but they are still the basics. So you must know the answers of these questions in order to progress. Here is the first question. What is the difference between class and object in C#? What are the types of classes in C#? Pause the video, think about the answer. Now you can see the answer. Now go to the next question. What is the difference between method overriding and method hiding? Pause the video, again think about the answer. Now you can compare the answer. Here is question number 3. How to implement exception handling in C#? Can we execute multiple cache blocks with a try block? Think about the answer. Here is the answer. Again, I want to repeat that I will not read the answer because it will be very boring then. I have to make this video short and useful. So if I will read all the answer, it will be then a 2-hour long video. So you can do it by your own self wherever you need it. If you don't need it, then you can skip the answer. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Can we create an instance of an abstract class? No. Okay, so this is a very short answer, that's why I read it. So its answer is no. I hope you know it. Now this is the next question. Explain state management techniques in ASP.NET. Or what is the difference between view state and session in ASP.NET web forms? Pause the video, think about the answer, write down all the main points of this answer and then compare the answer with the actual answer, which is right here. Let's go to the next question. Question number 6. What is the difference between server.transfer and response.redirect in ASP.NET web forms? This is a web form question, so if you are a MVC person, you can skip this question. Let's check the answer. Here is the answer. Moving to next question. Where the view state is stored after the page post back. Again, it's a web form question. Think about it and see the answer. It's hidden field. Moving to next question. What is connected architecture and disconnected architecture in .NET? What is difference between data reader, data set and data table in ADO.NET? This question will be having a long answer, so write down the main points and let's check the answer now. Okay, so the answer is not complete here, but you can do your own research on this question. This is a homework for you. Question number 9. What are aggregate and scalar functions in SQL? Write a query to get the maximum, minimum, average marks from a student table. A very basic SQL question it is. Think about it, write some query. Now let's check the answer. Okay, so here is our answer. Question number 10. What are cursors? When to use it and when to avoid them? You can see that there are, in some question, there are two parts. First question and the second question. In that type of scenario, the second question is very, very important. The first question is just the introduction. Interviewer wants you to answer the second question very confidently. So in this question, there is the second part, when to use it and when to avoid them. It's a very, very important thing. Let's check the answer. So here are the two parts of the answer. Coming to next question, what is indexing in SQL? What are clustered index and non-clustered index? How to create them? Again, there are three parts in this question and you have to answer all these three parts separately. Let's check the answer. Here is the answer, and if you are not aware, this is a very important question. Just research on it on Google and clear this concept. Okay, so here we finished the interview. I hope you know all of the answers of these questions, and if not, then just prepare, because these questions are very, very important. You cannot miss them before interview. Okay, so welcome to mock interview 4. The topics in this interview will be constructors, collections, string methods, garbage collection, views in MVC, return types in MVC, trigger in SQL, and union in SQL. So just prepare these topics and get ready for the interview. All the best. Okay, let's start the interview. Here is the first question. Can we achieve multiple inheritance in C#? Pause the video, think about the answer, think about inheritance. Let's see the answer. Okay, going to next question. What are constructors and its type in C#? Let's see the answer. These are the types of constructors. Question number 3. What are collections in C# and what are their types? Explain the difference between array list and hash table. Pause the video, think about the answer, and then see the answer. Here is the answer. Now going to next question. What is the purpose of using keyword in C#? Think about this keyword. and then see the answer. Going to next question. What is a finally block and when to use it? Can we have only try block without cache block? Think about the answer. Hold it for a second. Then check the answer here. Going to the next question. What are the basic string manipulation methods in C#? Think about it and let's see the answer. Next question. Explain garbage collection process in .NET. Can we force garbage collector to run? Think about the answer and then check the answer. Next question. What is the difference between dispose and finalize method? Let's see the answer. Here is question number 9. What is partial view in MVC? Or is it possible to share a view across multiple controllers? Hold for a second and think about the answer. Here is the answer. Great. Question number 10. List out different return types of a controller action method. So this is an MVC question. If you are a ASP.NET Web Forms person, then you can skip this question. Let's see the answer. What is the difference between union and union all in SQL? Hold it for a second, think about the answer. Let's see the answer. Question number 12. What are triggers and their types? Here is the answer. Great, so the interview is finished. As I said, this interview will not be of more than 5 or 6 minutes. If I will read all the answer, then it will take around 30 to 40 minutes. And it will be waste of time if you already know the answer. So focus on questions. Over time, you will definitely learn the answers with time. Okay, so here is the last mock interview of this course. Mock interview 5. The topics we will cover in this mock interview are this keyword, task in .NET, project architecture, authentication and authorization, singleton design pattern, page lifecycle, and self-join. So you can research on these topics and then come back to take the interview. All the best. So let's start the interview. First question. What is the purpose of this keyword in C#? Here is the answer. Second question. What is the purpose of params keyword in C#? Hold for a second, think about it, and then check the answer. Here is the answer. Question 3. What is task? What are the async and await keywords? Hold for a second, think about the answer or write down the answer and then compare your answer with the answer here. Moving to next question. How to prevent a class from being inherited? Here is the answer. Question number 5. What is 3-tier architecture? It's a big question and you have to explain it properly. So you can note all the points which you know. Here is a very short answer, but you have to explain it, each and every point of this answer. Question number 6. How we can force all the validation controls to run? Think about it. Here is the answer. Question number 7. What is authentication and authorization? What are the types of authentication? This is a very important question. So hold for a second, think about the answer, and then you can check the answer. Question number 8. What is caching and what are its types in ASP.NET? Check the answer here. Question number 9. What is the role of global.asx file in ASP.NET? Can you share one example when you used this file? So again, this question has two parts. You have to answer smartly and you have to answer both the parts. If you know the answer, then it's great. If you don't know, here is the answer. And let's go to next question. Question number 10. What is singleton design pattern? Have you ever used it? Tell me an example when to use it and how to use it. When to use private constructor. So both these questions have same kind of answer. So you can think about singleton pattern and try to answer this question. It's a very important question. Okay, great. Now let's see the answer. Here is the answer. Move if you already know it. Question number 11. What is self-join? Can you give an example and write a query to explain it? Again, it's a very important question. Just think about it, note it down or something like that. And then you can compare your answer with this answer. If it is matching, then you are clear. If it is not, then try to memorize and try to explore this answer on Google. Question number 12. What is the difference between delete, truncate and drop commands? Again, it's a very basic SQL question. Here is the answer. And the interview is finished. Alright, if you reached here and completed all the questions and answers, then congratulations, because where there is a will, there is a way. My best wishes are with you, and if you have any questions, then feel free to ask me. Finally, all the best for your interviews and your career.